So I kind of just want to make this as like a log in terms of this week in my hip journey because I think there's gonna be a lot of people who can relate, especially if you're in the West, especially if you're in that like working routine. But deep down, you really realize like the real purpose of why you're here, the real like reason. Inshallah, if you're on this goal as well as memorizing Quran and you want to make that as like a consistent habit, it's kind of like a bittersweet feeling where like alhamdulillah, you're at work and stuff like that. But at the same time, in the back of your head, I'm not able to memorize. It's like taking me away from like my actual goal. And that's what's happened to me a lot this week, to be honest. It's like once you let's say it could be like a busy week at work, or you're just starting, like in my case, and you have like a lot of stuff you got to balance. And in the back of your head, like you're like, man, I want to memorize way more than I want to do any of this stuff. But you really just can't, right? You have to obviously, you have to keep up with your responsibilities and stuff like that. On some days I was able to manage to memorize. Obviously, some days I couldn't, and I just revised those days. And that's kind of like the tip of this video is that if you're on this hip journey, is don't just like kick it all together just because you're busy. Is that if, even if it's like an extremely busy day, at least like before you go to sleep, or maybe like right when you wake up or something like that, like when there's a time that deep down that you're not busy in, right? Everyone has some blocks of time. No one's busy the whole exact entire day. That try to revise at least in those periods because okay, it's fine, you can't memorize anything new, but at least revision because in the future, if you come to, let's say, come back on the journey of memorizing or something like that, and you realize you forgot everything you memorized, it's just going to be like a whole blocker. You might not want to even start again. And since I've been memorizing for like quite a while now, I can actually like memorize maybe like a third of the page or half the page or a small amount of the page like pretty quickly. So that's what I was trying to do. Like during this busy week is like literally just before I went to sleep, I would memorize the first like third of the page or maybe like half of the page. And you'd be surprised, like even that's progress, right? The other day I was thinking, I was like, it's really not that big of a sacrifice for a goal that's like this big, that's this like, that lasts you your entire life. If you think about it, it might just be like 2 years of consistency and you will complete the entire Quran. And that's literally will last you the rest of your entire life. That's like, to me, that's like such a good trade-off. Whereas other goals, it might take you like extremely long just to get some kind of progress, some kind of result. And depending on your speed, it might take you a little bit less, it might take you a little bit longer. But in general, I think like this is the thing that when you're looking back at your life, it's one of the only things you'll be like proud that you actually started. Like honestly, even just now, right? When I look back at it, there's not that many things I could be like, oh, I'm really proud I started doing this. It's honestly like a handful of things, and this is one of them. Also, the reason I was trying to expose myself just like a little bit to the Quran, even if it was for like 10, 15 minutes before I went to sleep, right? This week, while I was like super busy, is because I knew like even like when you dedicate a small amount of time to memorizing, revising, whatever it is, it can honestly change your whole week, change your whole mindset. If you've been someone who like went maybe quite a while without memorizing, without revising, and then you got back on it, you start to taste what you were missing out on. Honestly, kind of crazy when I think like how a lot of people are operating versus like how people who are consistent on the journey are operating. Like your mind is in a totally different place. Like it's almost like two separate species, two separate people, while one person's like totally on autopilot, just thinking all this, the world, the responsibilities, all that stuff is like, up to their neck in stress. And this other person who's on this hip journey is memorizing is experiencing like almost a totally different reality. Their mind is in like a totally different spot. The whole way they're thinking is totally different. And this is honestly why like I've stayed on this like, pretty consistently, is because it's not just that like from outside looking in, it might look like, well, this seems like a big sacrifice for not much reward in the immediate, but like it's because you're not actually experiencing like the level of change in mindset, the way it changes the way you think. That alone is like a huge reward. And honestly, it gets to the point where I start thinking like, how was I kind of like living before? Like how was I living without like, because when I was growing up, I wasn't doing this like at all, right? This wasn't like until recently. And I was like, how did I go like 21 years without doing this? Like that's pretty crazy. But yeah, this is just like a quick little video log. And if there's anything that you take for this, is like try to expose yourself to then like at the minimum, just a little bit every single day, even if you're not making progress on it. Because I know if you're someone on this journey, you might feel bad if you're not making progress on it, because I get that feeling as well. But realize just by exposing yourself to it, even for a small amount, still kind of keeps that relationship with the Quran, and it keeps that hunger to want to memorize still there. But yeah, inshallah, that was a benefit. Assalamu alaikum.